Alright, Kevin, this is your final critique video for your final project in Mat 120. Walk through your project here and see how it looks. You've got an audio loop playing here in the background, very nice. I'm going to turn it down a little bit so that it's not quite so intrusive on the critique itself. So we have two options. When we first launch the project, we can start, we can go to miscellaneous. So let's just go hit start. And we've got some options in our buttons. One thing you might consider in your buttons is in the video lecture for buttons, I talk about editing the text, and I also mention turning on the anti-aliasing so that it doesn't have that kind of jaggy look, unless that's what you wanted. I'm not sure. I mean, considering the graphics in the background are kind of pixelated, it might work. I mean, I don't know what your overall look and feel is going to be. So clearly we got 5 choices. So we'll just go to the first one, Guildhall, and see what's going on. So we got a character here, and he's asking us if we're here to join. So if we go back to hub, then obviously we go back. So that's, that's just return navigation. So yeah, let's join. And so now we have, let's run down the basics of the RPG jobs. So we have mercenary, scribes, tactical, explore, and back. So let's see, just go back. Okay, cool. Navigation works well. So we'll go to mercenary. Okay, so we got a little comment from the guild master. The scroller doesn't have a controller, but it does scroll with the scroll wheel. So we have a description of an action RPG refers to combat style that is implemented. Okay, so we've clearly got a lot of text to read there, so we won't read it right now. But if you guys want a copy of what he's created, just go ahead and feel free to email him on Canvas, and he'll send you the SWF, I'm sure. So our next job is the scribe, and it looks like there aren't a lot of scribe jobs around. And so here another description of some RPG stuff, including the early Final Fantasy. All can be controlled by the player. That's cool. Not too many jobs, but it's a good paying job. So tactician and bad luck to me sounds like it's not a great job. Looks like you could get killed. And again, we talk a little bit about tactical RPGs and some history involved in that. Okay, cool. So we'll go back to that, and we have an explorer, and seems like that's a good job to have. They can mingle. Lots of information here, lots of history about different kinds of role-playing games, massive multiplayer online RPGs. So there's a variety of games there, all kinds of information here. This is looking good there, Kevin. Lots and lots of stuff. So let's go back, and we've already done that, so we'll go back to the hub and we'll check out the pub. And the barkeeper says, what'll you be having? So we'll find out about the customers, and we got armed people. Okay, so here we got, again, the scroller doesn't have a controller, but it works with the scroller wheel, which is good. We talk a little bit about live action role playing. We go back and we'll go to debating scholars, a bunch of yakker people who just want to talk up a storm. And they're just talking about all kinds of stuff. So we will go back and we'll check out the people playing cards, and talking about mini games inside of games. Lots of cool stuff here. Lots of good information, Kevin. This is cool. You could spend hours reading all this stuff. Okay, we'll go back and we'll go back to the hub. So far, navigation seems to be working very well. We'll go to the hunting games. Don't have a weapon. I guess we have to go pick up our bestiary. Okay, so giant monsters. We can say, maybe I don't want to be a second. We go back, but let's just check it out anyway. Let's go. And if we click on the monster, then we get a little dialogue box about the monster, and here our scroller works properly. We'll go back to that. And is there anything else happening here? Nope. So we'll go back and let's go pick up a tough monster. Be careful on second thought. Okay, we just go back. So navigation's working. Let's go get a tough monster. So those guys don't look too tough. Resistance and weakness. Almost every enemy is strong or weak. So it tells us a little bit about all that kind of stuff here. That's cool. And then we go to the other little bugger, status, ailments, and calculations. Okay, so here, more information here. It works by the scroller and by the scroll bar, so that's good there. We go back to that. We go back to that. And let's go to basic monsters. Let's go. So let's see, we got a health hit points, and they tell us a little bit about that. And then we go to this one regarding spirit, stamina, and skill. Lots of information about that. I'll tell you, if you didn't know about RPGs, you sure do now. Battle basics, lots of cool stuff here, lots of information. We'll go back and we'll pick the last guy, loot and EXP, which is experience. Okay, so a whole dialogue on that. And nothing else happening there. Nice backgrounds, by the way, Kevin. These are very cool. And we go back, and we've already checked out our monsters. We'll go back to the hub. Check out the Hall of Heroes. There's a scholar. Hello, may I help you? Interested in RPG? Let's find out your origins. Everything about the past history. Cool. Dating back years. Okay, let's go back and let's talk about the first RPG video games. Atari. Probably not a lot of people who remember that. 3D gameplay. Bokusuka Wars. Telengard. Roguelike genre. Okay, we'll go back to that. The emergence of the unique genres. Zelda. Fire Emblem. So we got a whole lot of information about that. Talking about cultures emerging. This is pretty intense there, Kevin. Pretty crazy. We just talked about that. Say no more. What would you like to know? We just talked about that. So let's go back and let's go back and let's go back to the hub. That was Hall of Heroes. Let's go to the inn. And now we're back at the beginning where if we started, we could go back to the inn and then let's go check out the miscellaneous. Looks like we have some videos here, and let's check out the black video first. Turn this up a little bit. Well, that was an excellent video. Obviously, a composite of multiple either screen captures or stuff you got off of the internet, but really nicely put together. You stitched a lot of these different things into a coherent video and tied it together with titles that helped to move the story along. So, excellent job on that. So, let's see what this is.
All right, then. Welcome back to Emerson's 2 minutes ago. No, less than a minute ago. Actually, 30 seconds. Actually, just 10
You're
seconds.
ruining the fantasy. It's a host show that's hosted every night.
Just like my tree. All right, so welcome, Sam.
Yo.
Thanks for taking time out of your day to be interviewed.
My pleasure.
All right. So the reason why I called you here was to ask you questions about RPGs or role-playing games, as they're mostly known. So how would you exactly define an RPG? There's so many different concepts and components to one.
Well, that sort of depends on what we're talking about, because in a broad term, it is role-playing game of, where you take a role and you play it, you put yourself into a character's shoes and stuff like that. But in terms of game, like video games, it often means something different. A lot of role games that are classified as role-playing games aren't really so much about the role that you put yourself into. A lot of it has to do more with like it's a turn-based strategy game and that sort of thing. Like I don't think Pokemon necessarily is an RPG in the truest sense. It sort of has a set story and it doesn't have much to do with the character. The main character of the Pokemon series, or whatever game that you're playing, is very bland. Usually, it doesn't have much. It doesn't even say anything because I guess that allows you to put in the character, but it's not really, filling the role. So, and I think that mostly came from Dungeons and Dragons, because a lot of it sort of.
Okay, I don't think we need to watch the entire interview, but it's nicely shot. I probably would have cropped it a little bit lower or tighter. You have a lot of space up here in the top that's dead space. So generally with interviews, you try to, get in a little bit tighter, which you really couldn't do considering where you're sitting. So you might have just added a little bit more to the bottom, but again, I don't know what's down there, so maybe it was better not to. It's up to you. Just a couple things that's just in cropping. The lighting is good. The audio is decent. And I might have closed the curtains here in the back just so that you don't have so much light coming in. Because you can see how, Kevin, your face is a little darkened because of the contrast. The camera is struggling with what to do while your subject is nicely lit and the contrast is good. So there's a couple little, technical things to think about as you think about putting together videos. So then we go back and we got the music playing in the background. And so I'm going to turn that off. And Kevin, this is an excellent project. Excellent. I mean, tons of content, lots of depth. You got a lot of things going on, especially when you were playing around with is it there? Yeah. When you were playing around with monsters and you were, exploring, even buttons that aren't buttons, graphics that act as buttons, and you're adding more content there. That was really very good. The idea of coming back to the hub and then the different categories. I already did that one. So this was cool. You had a different person here interviewing each time. Where are you gonna hit? What are you gonna do? So that was cool. And again, tons of content. Background graphics are really well done. Overall, Kevin, this is an excellent project. Hit all the marks. The one thing I didn't see in here was a 3D animation. I don't know if it's in your folder or not, but I will go hunting around and see if I can find it. Other than that, though, Kevin, great job.